So we have one more question for the factoring. Okay, so sometimes if it's very difficult to factor, right, or take you a long time to factor, or if it's not factorable, right, we could use quadratic formula. So here I give you an example here. This one, right, so of course we need to make one side 0, okay, just like before. So it will become 3 cosine squared minus 8 cosine x plus 4 equal to 0. And then you can, of course, try to factor it, right? So, but let's say we pretend that we don't know how to factor, okay? Or we couldn't find a pair, okay? So let's try with the quadratic formula. So quadratic formula is, right, last time we put it in the formula sheet, right? So Cindy, do you remember the quadratic formula? I remember last time I asked you.
Negative b plus minus root b squared minus 4ac over 2a.
Yeah, very good. And then this is to use to find what?
X.
Yeah, used to find x. But then instead of x, right, in this question, instead of x, we are actually finding the cosine x. Okay, because our variable here is not just x, it's cosine x, right, together. Once you find out what cosine x equal, then you go from there to find the x. Okay, so your ABC, this is the A, right? This is the B, the last one is the C. Okay, so you guys practice plugging into the quadratic formula and let me know what you get at the end. Okay, what's cosine x equals to? Okay, so raise your hand if you finish using the quadratic formula. If you forgot the formula, right, forgot what Cindy just said, you can go back to formula sheet on the first page. Okay, take a look and fill in the numbers. A, B, C. Okay, have you found the answer yet? What's cosine x equal? Please raise your hand if you finish plugging in. All right, let's check. Ray, what do you have for the first answer?
I got 2 and 2/3.
2 and 2/3. So 2 answers. Okay. 2 and 2/3. Cindy, how about you?
I got the same.
Got the same? Okay. Anyone has trouble here? Donna, almost done?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let me know if you get the same, okay, Donna? So let me fill in the brackets first. Negative b plus minus b squared minus 4ac to 8. Got it yet, Donna?
I got negative 2 over 3.
Negative 2 over 3. And +2?
Wait. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so 1 positive, 1 negative. Okay, how about Eric? What about you?
Wait, no. 2 negative.
Oh, both of them are negative.
Yeah.
Okay, Eric, how about you? Do you have negative or positive?
I have both positive.
Both positive. Most people got positive, okay? Double check your plugging in, okay? So if we simplify this, it will be 8. Negative times negative, right? Plus minus 64 minus 12 times 4, right? So that's like 16 over 6. Yeah, I think it should be positive, right? Square root of 16 is just 4.
I accidentally looked at, like, I forgot negative
Right.
for A.
Yeah. Okay. So A is positive, right? Positive 3. All right. So now we got 2 answers, right? So that means we need to split. One is cosine x equal to 2. The other one is cosine x equal to 2/3. Okay. So same thing that we want to do. We want to get answer in domain. I don't think these are special, right? So we have done question like the left side, right? If it's not special, now you know what to do. So domain, okay? Answer in domain and general. So please complete the rest and raise up your hand, okay? When you finished. The domain here is a regular one, okay? So no worry about that. Does anyone has questions about either side of the equation?
Are these special angles?
These are not special angle. Any other questions? Right, special angle is when you see 1, root 2, right, root 3, the 2, right? But then we got tricked before, okay? We have to be more careful here. Tangent, right, is not special.
So we have used the quadratic formula for E.
For E, yeah, well, you could. No, this one you can because this one is a cubic, right? Question E is a cubic, so you cannot use quadratic formula.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If it's a square, but then this one doesn't have a C, right? Quadratic formula needs ABC. So if you really want to use it, right, if it's a square, then your C will be 0. You could still use it, right, if it's a square, but then the C will be 0. But I would suggest you not to use it, right? GCF is faster for this one. Okay, anyone else finish this yet? Let's check answer for the left side, okay? Cosine x equal to 2. Ray, what's your answer coming from the left?
Undefined.
Undefined, okay, because?
It's 2.
It's 2, and how do you know 2 is undefined?
Because it's bigger than like 1.
Yeah, okay, cosine or sine cannot be bigger than 1 or smaller than -1, right? Think about a graph. The graph goes up and down, right, for cosine graph. The highest it can go is up to 1, right? Lowest is -1, so you can never get a ratio that's more than 1, right? Or you can think about the triangle. 2 is like 2 over 1. So you get an adjacent is 2, hypotenuse is 1. That makes no sense, right? Adjacent over hypotenuse, it cannot be longer than hypotenuse, right? So this one, no solution, right? No solution coming from the left side. But we do have solution from the right side though, right? This one is not bigger than 1. Okay, so continue, right? Cindy, have you found the reference angle for the right side?
I think it's 0.841.
0.841.
Yeah.
Okay. How about Donna? What do you think? Is that the reference angle?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And then the quadrant. Okay, which quadrant is it? Tiana?
1, 4.
1, 4. Okay. 1, 4. So we have our, so we just get 2 answers then, right? 0.841. And how do we get the second answer? Cindy, how do we get second answer then?
Pi minus it. No, wait, no, that was for the one before. Negative 0.841.
But the domain that we want is, well, what's going on?
Oh, 2 pi minus
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you got to use 2 pi, right? Because domain is, oops. Okay, domain is 0 to 2 pi, right? So you want to turn in a circle, right? Counterclockwise. So you got to go 2 pi and then take away reference. So how big is it? Can you tell me?
Um, 5.44.
Okay, 5.442, right? Keep it 3 decimal places. Okay, now for general solution, this one doesn't have straight lines, right? So you just do the regular 0.841 plus 2 pi n, 5.442 plus 2 pi n, and don't forget what? Donna, what else is missing?
And something I.
Yeah, NEI, okay? You can call that NEI, or you can say that's an element of integer. Okay, there is, okay, I I need to restart my, okay, hold on. I think it's fine. Okay, so let's move on, okay, to our last method for today, okay? I want to cover method 3. Method 3, if you look at the question G, right? Compare with everything else that we've done so far. All the questions we've done today. What is the biggest difference? Take a look. What's the biggest difference for the question G, H with everything else? Observation, okay? Tell me what you see. What do you see? Anybody? Question G and H, how is it very different from everything else we've done?
They have a 2 before the x.
Yes, very good. Okay, there's a coefficient, right? There's a number before the variable, right? Everything else is just x, right? Sine x, cosine x. There's no number in between. So in method 3, you will use this method when there is coefficient, right? Or there's number other than 1 before x, right? But it doesn't have to be x. It could be data, right? In the homework, maybe they put 2 data, right? It's the same thing. It's just a variable. So before the variable x, right, or before data. So if it's 1, right? If it's 1, then it will be what we did before, right? If it's more than 1, right, could be 2. Or on the next page, you have a 3, right? 3x. Okay, or you could have like this question, this one is 1/4, right? So anything that's other than 1, then you need to use this method, right? So the method is very straightforward because if I have something in front of 2x, I know how to do it without the 2, right? So we are going to do substitution. We are going to sub 2x as a new variable. So let's say we call it a then. Okay, I'm going to sub 2x as a. So that way we turn the question into something we know how to do, right? Then we can use method 1 and 2. Okay, so once we substitute 2a as a, sorry, 2x as a, then the question now becomes 2 sine a equal 1. And then from here on, we'll solve for a. Okay, then we can do it like using method 1 here, right? There's only one variable. So we ignore the question, right? For the one that has x, we pretend 2x is a, and we solve for a. So this one, if we isolate, it will be sine a equal to half, right? We do the same thing as before. We draw the quadrants, right? So it'll be quadrant 1 and 2. Okay, fill in the sides. Can you tell me what's the reference angle here? Donna, what's the reference angle?
pi/6.
Yes, okay, so that's our pi over 6. Now we are going to find, because this one has a domain, but we are not using the domain here, okay? We are finding the answer within one circle, okay? When we are finding a, we find the angle within one circle. We call that the principal answer or principal solution. Okay, principal solution means all the answer within one circle. Okay, so we don't, this is not because of the domain, because if you look at the other question, okay, for example, like question on the next page, you have question J. J has a domain of 0 to 12 pi, right? Maybe they can change the domain to 0 to pi, right, if they want, but doesn't matter what the domain is, you will start by finding anything within one circle. So we call that the principal solution or principal angles. Okay? So remember, if you look back to the notes, principal angles is starting from 0 and then going counterclockwise. Okay? Here we just call it principal solution, or let's keep the name the same. Okay? Let's call it principal angle. Okay? So you don't get confused. Principal angles. So the first answer will be power 6. Right? And the next answer, what's the second answer? Cindy? Cindy, what's the second answer?
Oh, 5 pi over 6.
Yep, 5 pi over 6. Okay? And then we are going to get the general solution for A. Right? This one, it doesn't have straight lines, so we would need 2 of them. Right? The other one will be 5 pi over 6 plus 2 pi n. Okay? And then A is something we use at the beginning to help us, right? But in fact, A is actually 2x, right? A is double of the x that we want to find. So the answer you have is double of what we wanted. So we need to divide it by 2, okay? So the next one is also general, but it's the general answer for x. So we need to divide by 2. Divide what we got before. So pi over 6 divided by 2, that will make it pi over 12, right? And then 2 pi n divided by 2, that will give us pi n, right? Because A is double of the x. So we need to divide by 2. And then same thing here, it will be 5 pi over 12 plus pi n. Okay, can you raise your hand if you understand everything up to here? Or let me know if you have questions, right? Show me hands. Yeah, okay. So if the question asks for general solution, then that's it. You finished. You move on to next one. Okay, of course, don't forget an EI, right? I almost forgot.
Wait, what's principal angle again?
Principal angle is, okay, let's go back, okay? It's very beginning when we learn trig.
Thing, right?
Huh?
It's the same thing as before.
Yeah, same meaning as before. Let me pull that out. Okay, principal angle is here. Principal angle is the positive angle in standard position, right? The first positive angle in standard position. So over here, right, you have a terminal arm and then you turn, right, the green one. Okay, then that's called the principal angle. Always start from 0 and then you turn on the positive direction and stopping at the terminal arm. So for the one, because the ones that we are working on, let me go to that page again. Okay, thing is here. Yeah, the one we have here, this one has 2 arms, right? So principal angle, one will be here, the other one will be here. So those are the 2 principal angle. All right. So we got our general solution. Now, because the question has a domain, right? So we want all the answer that fits inside 0 to 2 pi. So what we want to write for the final answer, right? For this one, answer that fits inside the domain. Then what we do is we take our general solution and then continue change your n. Continue keep on adding the pi until it no longer fits inside the domain. Okay, because general solution means all the solution, right? But now we only want the answer that fits from 0 to 2 pi. So we need to keep on trying, right? So you can start with n equal to 0, right? N equal to 0, that will give you pi over 12, right? I'm talking about the green one right now, the one in the green circle, okay? Now, pi over 12, of course, that fits inside pi over 0 to 2 pi, right? Now I can try n equal to 1. That means you add a pi, right? So pi over 12 plus a pi. You have to know how to add fractions, right? So equals to pi over 12 plus 12 pi over 12. So each time you add a 12 pi. So that will give you 13 pi over 12. Okay, now if I try n equal to 2, then that's like adding 2 pi, right? Adding 2 pi, then that will be outside the domain, because the domain only goes up to 2 pi, 0 to 2 pi, right? If you do one more, it will look like 25 pi over 12, and that is too big. Okay, so we don't want that one, okay? So go up to there. So for the green part, it's only these two solutions. Any question here so far? Do you get what I mean here, right? We get 2 of them. Now we move on to the next part, okay? The purple one. So same thing, we start with n equal to 0, then that will give our first answer that fits in. And then you add another pi, means you add 12 to the top. So 17 pi over 12. And then I cannot add any more, right? If I add one more pi, it will be too big. So that will be coming from the second one, okay? So total at the end, you have 4 answers. Okay, any questions?
Wait, why is it pi over n and not 2 pi over 2? I mean, why is it pi n and not 2 pi n?
Okay, because a is 2x. Remember, we replaced 2x as a. So this is saying that a is double the x. Make sense so far?
Yeah.
Yeah. So x is what we want. So a is double of what we want. So a is too big. So we need to divide it by 2. So when you divide by 2, you take pi over 6 divided by 2, and also 2 pi n divided by 2.
Oh, okay.
Got it, right?
Yeah.
2 pi n divided by 2, that's why it becomes pi n. Okay, so any more questions? So for this one, we have total of 4 answers. Okay, if the question asks for general solution, then you will stop in the third line, right? The first red box, right? But if they give you a domain, you have to do one more step, okay, to get the answer in domain. So first, you start with substitution, right? And then you get the principal angle, and then you get the general, and then general. So that's why it's called PGG. Okay, just a little letter there to help you remember what order to do it. Okay, principal at first and get the 2 generals. All right, so let's try this one. Okay, Try question B. Sorry, question H. I want to do 2 more, okay, before today's finish. So maybe a little bit over time, okay, but let's try, all right? So question H, we're gonna sub. What's the substitution here, Tiana?
2x.
Yep, so 2x will become A. Okay, so our equation will now look like what, Ire?
Cosine a squared equals to negative cosine a.
Yep. Square, make sure you put it in the middle, right? Or you put the brackets and then square, right? So now since you don't have 0 on one side, we need to move it over. Okay, so it'll be 0 cosine square A plus cosine square cosine A. Okay, so now you can ignore the original question, just focus on this now, right? After substitution, you try to find A. So how should we proceed? What's the next step? Cindy? Which method should we use now? Cindy? Either method 1 or method 2, right? Which one?
1.
1? What's number 1?
Wait, no, 2. Wait, 2. Yeah, 2.
What's number 2?
On the factor
Okay,
side,
then how do we factor here?
take out cos A.
Yeah, there you go. Very good. Okay. Once you do substitution, right? After substitution, then it becomes either method 1 or 2, right? Method 3 is try to make the question look like method 1 and 2. So take out cosine A, and left over will be cosine A plus 1. So once again, we are splitting, right? We split into cosine A equal to 0 and cosine A plus 1 equal to 0. Okay, and then we do the same thing. We are gonna find P, G, G. Right? First, you will find the answer for A, principal angle for A, and then general solution for A, and then general solution for X. Okay, this is the layout. All right, so for the left side, what's the principal angle for A? Right, cosine has to be 0. Donna?
Over 2.
Say that
And
again.
pi over 2.
Yeah,
Then 3 pi over 2.
very good. Okay, cosine equal to 0 is a special place. So principal angle 1 here, 1 there, right? 0, 0 on top and bottom. Let's move on to next one. Next one will give you cosine A equal to -1, right? So what is the principal angle now? Tiana?
Cosine pi.
So pi, right?
Pi, yeah, pi.
Okay, so very good. So the angle is on the left side for -1. Principal angle is here. Okay, so now we need general solutions. How many general solutions do we need? Ire?
1.
Just one? Which one?
I don't know if it's right or not. I just wrote pi over 2 plus pi over 2n.
Pi over 2n. Oh, you mean you keep on adding the 90-degree, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if you do that, right, it's almost correct. Okay, I'll explain why, right? If we put the pictures together, you have one line there, one line there, one line there. if you say you start with pi over 2, right, and you add a pi n or go to here, that gets the second line. Add another pi over 2, will be here. But if you add one more, you'll go there. But then there is no line on the right side. Make sense, Yurei?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why this one will give you too many answers. Okay? We only want to cover all the red lines. So how do we modify that? How many general then?
2
Yeah, okay. Can you tell me one of them?
pi over 2 plus pi n.
Yeah, okay. And what will be the other one, Eric?
Pi plus 2 pi n.
Yeah, pi plus 2 pi n. Okay, and don't forget NEI. Okay, finally, we need to get x, right? X has to be half of a, right? Because a is 2x. So we will divide it by 2. So pi over 4 plus pi n over 2, right? Pi over 2 plus pi n, NEI. So that's the general solution. But the question also has a domain, right? Domain is 0 to 2 pi. So you only look at the domain at the final step, okay? So your final answer that we want to keep, you can start with n equal to 0. N equal to 0 will be power 4. Not plus, okay, comma. And then we'll try n equal to 1. N equal to 1 means you add half a pi. So you got to check, think about how do we add fraction now, right? Adding half a pi, so get common denominator, right? So that's like adding 2 pi over 4. So that will make it 3 pi over 4, right? So by looking at the first two, we know each time you need to add a 2 on the top. So next one will be, what will be the next one now? Donna? Donna, are you there? Do you get what I mean?
Sorry, what was your question?
Yeah, my question is, here I got 3 pi over 4, right? That's the second answer. How do we get the next one now?
5 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4.
Okay, 5 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4. Can I go more?
Too big.
Too big, very good, okay? So for the left side, we get 4 answers. Now, for the right side, okay, let me put different color, right? So green one will give you these 4, okay? And then the purple one, I can start with pi over 2. I can add a pi, so that will give us 3 pi over 2. If I add one more pi, it will be too big, okay? So we get just 2 of them. All right, so total, your final answer for this question should be 6, okay? 6 answers. All right, so the last question I want you to try it, okay, before the class ends is the last one, okay? Last one, it has a coefficient a little bit different, okay? Don't get scared, it's the same procedure, all right? You start with substitution. Okay, what do we sub, Eric?
X over 4.
Yeah, you just take the whole x over 4 and make it look like a, right? So then the question looks easier to you. So it becomes secant a plus root 2 equals 0. And then you just ignore everything else for now, right? Focus on finding a. So you do the same thing, get the principal, general, General. Principal for A, general for A, general for X, and finally in domain, okay? So let's see if we can carry out all the way to the end this time. Okay, so if you get the final answer, please raise your hand. And Cindy, can you tell me which method to use now?
The first one.
Yes, okay, isolate variable, okay? So you guys move on. Secant A will be negative root 2. If anyone has question about the last two questions, okay, you can ask me. I might be going a little bit faster, right? But you can let me know if you have any part that's not clear. Let's check the quadrants now, okay? Samantha, which quadrant should we draw the angle? Which quadrant, Samantha?
2 and 3.
2 and 3, very good. Okay, same as cosine, right? And secant is hypotenuse over adjacent, right? So hypotenuse will go to here, adjacent. So that one is a special, okay? This is a special one. Please raise your hand if you finish the thing in the red box. Okay, let's check the reference. Okay, make sure you guys got the same reference. Donna, what's the reference angle here?
Pi over 4.
Yeah, excellent. Cindy, what's the principal angle?
3 pi over 4 and 5 pi over 4.
Very good. Okay, this one doesn't have straight lines, right? No straight lines, so we need general for each one of them. Okay, we're almost at the red box. Have you guys finished yet? Or anyone wants to ask questions? You look at how your substitution is, right? To determine what to do. A is x over 4. So how can we find x? Please raise your hand if you finished. Okay, Tiana, can you tell me what to do to get x?
Do you divide it by 1/4?
Okay, yeah, it's divided by 1/4, but when you divide by 1/4, it's the same as what?
Timesing it by 4.
Yeah, it'll be easier to just times it by 4, right? Because A is 1/4 of the x, right? So A is actually smaller than what we want. So you would times it by 4 to get the x. So let's finish it, okay? Get the thing in the red box. Cindy, have you found a general solution?
I'm not done.
Okay. Multiply by 4, okay? The general solution for A, multiply by 4. You can write it here, right? Times 4.
Can I say it?
Okay, Donna, what's your general solution?
3 pi plus 8 pi and I think it's 4 pi plus 8 pi and
Say that again.
oh wait, no, it's 5 pi plus 8 pi
Yeah, that's right. Anything else?
and EI.
Yeah, NEI. Okay, when you times it by 4, it just cancels out the denominator, right? So once you get that, we can get all the answer in domain. So now is the time to look at the domain, right? So we want everything from 0 to 12 pi. So of course, 3 pi will fit, right? Can we fit anything else, Iray?
11 pi?
Yeah. Any more?
No.
Okay, we move on to the second one, Eric.
5 pi.
Okay, Cindy, what's the last one?
I don't. Is that it?
Is that it? Let's check, right? How do we know is that it? What will be the next one? If we add one more.
13 pi.
13 pi, yeah. 13 pi will be outside 12 pi. So if they change the domain, right, then we need to fit one more. So this one, yes, you're right. That's it, okay? So only 3 answers. Okay, so that's it for today's lesson. Okay, a lot of interesting stuff here. So you can stay after class, okay, if you have questions. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Okay?
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.